Well, good morning, good people of the interwebs. I am, of course, the Tenkaichi of Gaming, Ichigo Mosco, aka Pookie87. And I thought I'd do something a little different today, as I like to present a new side series. I just thought about this not too long ago, and I was just thinking about it after some while and thought of a name for it. It's called the Tenkaichi's Guide 2. And of course, you could just take it as advice or, however you see fit. If you want to leave comments, add some insight of your own, you are more than welcome to do so. So, I believe the first subject for this interesting little topic of affairs is LPing. Yeah, that's right. I decided to take on doing LPing as my first official guide as an LPer. For those who want to get into LPing and what it's all about, I'm pretty sure most of you know what it's all about. But for those who are kind of in the know, or not in the know, but are rather fresh from figuring out what LPers do and what they're about, I, for one, would like to clear the air about what being an LPer is really about and how you can go about becoming an LPer yourself. So, I feel that there has to be some sort of rules of conduct into being a decent, if not great, LPer. I mean, I feel it's needed and necessary because really, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm an LPer," and you don't know what you're doing. So, of course, you just have to remember a couple of things. And they're not really, all that hard. Like I said, you could take it as advice if you want to become an LPer, or you can be, or if you're still doing playthroughs and you want to move up the chain from doing games to actually wanting to LP games, you can do so. Now, the first rule of conduct for being a decent LPer, and number one is very important. You have to know what you're really good at. Know what you're really good at, because if you don't know, then what you can do is you could cycle through a list of games at what you're good at. If you have some that you know you're really good at, like say for instance, I'm pretty good at Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, strategy games, action RPGs, hand-eye coordination type of games, rail shooters, and the on occasion sports games. The easy ones, the ones you can actually have fun with, like Mario Kart or something like that. I'm very good at certain games. I'm kind of terrible at platformers only because of one thing. I get nervous. I can't help it. It's just like a nervous. It's just like a nerve thing. So therefore, it's like unless you know how to deal with something like having good jump physics or getting around to point A to point B in the quickest time, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm not perfect. And I don't plan on being perfect anytime too soon. So therefore, it's only right that you basically know what you're good at. Number two, well, number two is pretty much important. Number two is you have to be yourself. I mean, don't try to. I mean, if you're out there to get subs, you're not doing it right. I'm serious. If you think you can actually get subs just because you're an LPer, you're really not doing it right. I mean, the thing is, when you play a certain game, even when I'm raging, I still have fun with it. I mean, if I rage, let me rage. I mean, I'm pretty sure people will get a kick out of it. I don't know why, but people are kind of sick like that. They have a sick, weird sense of humor in seeing certain people rage. And I usually read comments about it. I hardly ever reply to them, but, you know, it takes me some time. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, there's so many things you can do with your time. But, you know, the one thing I do with most of the games that I play is I have fun with them. That's the most important thing. Even if I'm doing a turn-based strategy game, just the fact that I can actually do some interesting voices and whatnot, trying to get a feel for the characters, that's having fun with the game. I mean, in any other case, yeah, that's what you're doing. You have fun with the game. I mean, you're never supposed to find a certain game a bore. And even if you do find it a bore, don't show it. You can actually just type it in the description box. That's what it's there for. When you upload something and you want to type it in the description box, that's what it's there for. So use the description box. Don't say, oh, this game really does suck. Even that is the case, you're not only playing it for yourself, but you're playing it for those who are interested in playing it. So therefore, leave all negativity in the description box. Otherwise, just try to enjoy the game as best you can. And of course, by all means, be yourself. Just have fun with it. Third rule, I believe, is most important, is, well, from what I know, don't take shit from anybody. Really, that's what I feel is most important. If you're an LPer, or if you're a reviewer or of some sort, whatever kind of personality you are, whether it's YouTube or whatever, or wherever, especially if you are an LPer, if people don't like how you play a certain game, or how your style is, you don't have to take that shit from them. Remember, you're the one playing the game. They're the one watching. If they don't like it, they can always click to something else. And the thing is, all they're doing is wasting your time and energy into which you can probably do more parts. It's like for me, when I started off doing playthroughs, and I kind of mentioned, okay, I kind of put in, this is part 1 of this game, part 2 of this game. When I first started doing that, I did for about half a year until I just figured, well, why not I try something different? How about I try to become an LPer? Not only did it feel kind of strange, but it's sort of like you're kind of growing out of your shell. Like, you don't want anybody to know who you are, but at the same time, you want people to know who you are. And that leads to my next rule as an LPer. That next rule is be confident. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be truly, truly honest. When you speak up, it's amazing how well you can actually defend yourself. Even if you aren't the greatest gamer in the world, you can actually, defend yourself. Defend yourself. Not as an LPer, but as a person. You have to defend yourself. Defend your integrity. Don't have anybody talk shit about you. In whatever kind of element there is, you have to stay confident and be confident. I mean, I know some friends who actually aren't all that confident because they're worried about what other people are thinking or saying. And I'm not talking about Skype. I'm talking about I have friends in general. That I don't really meet on a personal basis or on a regular basis. But I know some people, they are always worried about what this person is going to do, what they're going to say about them, and whatnot. I see it as this. Seeing that I am one with a disability, namely, I have cerebral palsy. I don't ever let anybody, no matter what the situation, I don't ever let anybody tell me that I'm retarded or an idiot or I'm ugly. I've seen uglier people, okay? I've seen uglier and much more retarded things than possibly anyone can imagine. I mean, words do hurt sometimes. So that's why I like to say, I don't take shit from nobody. I really don't. I mean, I'm the kind of person who basically, yeah, I could tolerate you, but I'm not going to take shit from you. I mean, I'm not going to take all that kind of verbal abuse, saying you'll never amount to anything, you'll be doing this, blah, 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 blah. What is this you're doing? What is this? I get it from my folks sometimes. And they wonder why I always do this at night. Or why I always, do these things and I'm not getting paid for it. Whether I get paid for doing it or not, the point is that, I have been chosen to do such a thing as this project or this certain LP that I'm doing, and a company asked me to do it. And, it's a good feeling because, hey, this might lead to bigger, better things. So, hey, if it leads to bigger, better things and I get negativity, I'll shoot it down to the ground till it can't move anymore. Therefore, I don't take shit from nobody. Even if I'm doing a certain request, I let that request be known that, look, do not expect a perfect run. Expect a lot of frustration, a lot of this and a lot of that. And I just say I'm going to be honest with you. I do requests, but the thing is, don't expect so much. I mean, unless you tell me, okay, I want this and I want that, and could you possibly try and do this? Okay, that's fine. But don't don't write a comment saying you're supposed to do such and such. And yes, I know what I'm saying. I mean, I've had certain comments in the past saying, what you should do is da 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 da. And what level were you when what level and why are you doing this game and why blah 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 this and blah 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 that. I see it as this: if you want to help me out, leave me some feedback, like how I can get a certain item or a certain unit or whatever. Leave me something that can help me, or at least tell me where I'm supposed to go next. If it's a blind run, I prefer to be told where to go next or how I should find this place if I get lost. I rather have help than have no help at all. It's just the way I am. I mean, even though I can do certain games, if it's mainly like a halfway blind run, or like say 3/4 blind run, or 95% not 95% blind run, hey, I say please let me know. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense and it helps me out, and I let that be known. Like, for instance, I'll take Chronicles of the Dark Lord episode 1. Now, I remember when I did the first part, and this was long before I got my new computer. I pronounced the characters were mages as magus. I did not know it was pronounced mages until I was told it's pronounced mages. I said, okay, so it's like black mage, white mage, a couple of mages. Okay, mages. Everything else I can understand, but unless you tell me, I'm going to mainly fuck it up, and I'm sorry if I do fuck it up, but please correct me if I'm wrong, okay? That's all there is. I mean, I'm not perfect, so therefore, every little bit helps. But like I said, the one thing you have to do, going back to my main point, is you have to be confident. Because if you show the slightest bit of fear, trolls are gonna knock at your door, and haters are gonna hate. So the thing is, pull out your mighty banhammer, your chainsaw, vampire kill, whatever the fuck you have. Please let them know you don't take shit from nobody. Simple as that. Another bit of advice. There's one piece of advice I like to say. Co-op. Yes, I'm mentioning this now because if you've seen various editions of Random Co-op, the thing to remember is, going back, have fun. I mean, whenever we do Random Co-op, whether I'm doing a game and it can either be a shitty game or a good game, it does not matter. I do it just for entertainment. I like to just basically, it's the same thing if I was doing shitastic games. I just do it to entertain you, just to bring a smile to your face, just to say, this game is shitty. Just like it says on my picture. I'm waving the banner for good and shitty games since 1985. Because that's how I roll. I mean, to me, yeah. Certain games need to be ragged on. Certain games need to be taught a lesson. And certain games do require a bit of humor. So therefore, I try to make the best out of a terrible situation from playing a bad game. I like to mix humor. So therefore, just, have a good time. I mean, with Random Co-op, there's usually me and 1 to at least 3 other people. And like I said, there's 4 of us. There's myself, Sheena, Ryu, and Snorlag. And since there are four of us, basically it started with me and Sheena. So basically we are random co-op. Then we add Ryu into the mix, and that's random co-op. And then we add Snorlax to the mix, and that's random co-op. So therefore, it's like all four of us joking around, playing one game together. It's like when you have a board game, and then you have a couple of friends over, and you basically talk smack while you're playing the game. That's normal. It's healthy. Not only does it keep good communication, but you have fun. You keep your people around. I mean, it's very important, that every LPer or every good LPer should do a little multiplayer action, I should say. Just a little multiplayer action, because I do mine over the weekends. Because I feel sometimes that on the weekends that I don't really do anything. I like to just have fun. Break out some sort of game, whether it's shitty or not. And just to say, hey, this game can be fun if you can find the humor in it. And for most times, yeah, I do often find the humor in certain games. I mean, that's the way it should be. You have fun. You have good friends, and after it's all said and done, hey, we have a good time, and we basically just end up laughing, and we talk about it the next day, and I would usually read the comments, and we'd all get a little snicker. Something like that. I mean, to me, it's very important that, you should have a little something. I mean, if not anything else, just a little something like playing something like Clue or Monopoly or something like that. Just a little get-together game. I mean, that's just as important as playing a single-player game. Another rule of thumb is take a break. Because I'm an author as well as an LPer, sometimes I like to take a break from a certain game. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing it. That only means that I'll still be working on it. I'll still be making parts on it. Just I do not feel like I want to present it yet. It's like for next week. All I'm doing this week is preparing parts for next week. So therefore, when that happens, that I happen to upload this and upload that, it just takes, a lot of pressure off me, because I'm not thinking about, you should be going here. I know. So I'll be like, okay, just to get to this one place, and I'm grinding a whole lot in one area, or I'm getting past one area that requires a lot of, time and effort. So that's what I'm doing. And sometimes, and not often, but there are some times that you may want to save before a certain spot, because if you have recording issues like desyncing or the audio gets messed up, just save. What I would do is, in any kind of area that is foreign to me, I save. Just in case if I get a game over. Because, I'll be honest, if I do get a game over, it's like it's out of stupidity. So therefore, yeah, it's a motif I have. It's out of sheer stupidity that I somehow get a game over. because of A, it's out of these categories that I instantly get a game over. A, I'm under leveled, especially in the RPG. B, I don't have the right equipment. C, a certain character gets killed. D, the enemy, of course, does a last minute dick move and wipes out your team. Just because it can. Just because it likes being a douche. I, for one, just, I feel that's what usually happens. I don't like that, but, it happens. I mean, it happens, and, it happens. And the only thing I can do is just get up and fight again. You don't say die. Never say die. There's another rule of thumb I feel is very important. And I'm trying to think of it, and I know what it is. And it's a very, 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 very ugly disease that usually happens when a certain game starts to drive you mad. Rage quitting. Rage quitting, of course. I know many gamers get it. I, on the other hand, I don't try to succumb to it. Rage quitting is basically frustration out the ass. I mean, really, if the game is that hard to you, then just stop. I mean, just stop. I mean, it's not worth trying to blow a single brain cell or 2 or 3 or maybe 10 or maybe 100 just for one part of the game. I mean, maybe, it's just nerves, so, just stop, come back to it later. That's how you do that. That's how you properly do that. That's how I hope many people would do that. I mean, some people, they have the, this is what I like to call beast mode. Like you're hungry like the wolf. You want to beat it. You are driven to beat it, and you do not want to do anything else but beat it. So I like to say, try to kill the beast before the beast kills you. Because there's a way out of beast mode. You just basically have to say, no, you take control. No, I'm not doing this. I'll come back to it later. Bam. You just saved yourself a couple of brain cells. And then some. And I believe the last one that I feel is most important, because I mentioned this in a previous Tenkaichi Files video, the LP curse. And if you heard my issue about the LP curse, basically, like I said, there is no such thing as a curse. And I'm going to stand by that. Because naturally, many people, many known LPers, or many commenters I would read or hear about would say LPer's curse. And I say it like this. It happens. You do a practice run and you're really good at it. But when you actually start recording for posterity's sake and you start to suck, basically, what I feel is most important is what should happen is you should record your practice run. Not perfect run. You should record your practice run. And then before you actually start recording it, just sit back and look at it. Just sit back and look at the footage and see how you did the first time. And then just basically just try to emulate. Just take a deep breath and just try to emulate it. There's nothing wrong with you trying to actually do the same thing that you just did like 30 minutes ago. It can be done and you can do it. There's no problem in it. I mean, if you do so, I guarantee it will change things. You will feel better because you actually know how you did it. It takes a lot of pressure off you if you know how to deal with it. And I'm one of those kind of people who actually know how to deal with it. Another rule of thumb, when you're doing a certain LP, make a playlist of it. Because you never know who will be looking for a certain game and how to beat it. And I feel, that certain people I shouldn't say certain people. My mistake. Whether you are doing walkthroughs or LPs, make a playlist of it. Because you never know who might be looking for a certain game. And they might show up to your doorstep, or should I say your channel, and they might see, I don't know, something like Shining Force, Shining Soul, Chronicles of the Dark Lord, Super Robot Tyson Original Generation, Phoenix Wright, something like that. Final Fantasy, mainly Final Fantasy, or whatever the hell kind of game you're playing. Whatever people are looking for, that's what they're going to look for. They're going to look for a guide. So that's why, for my sake, I make playlists. And I have to say, there's one person who told me I should make playlists. Or rather, a couple people told me to make a playlist. Because since I have so many games, I should really make a playlist. And there's some games that, require playlists. Some games that don't. For anything stupidly long, yes, I like to make a playlist. It helps me because I don't have to do all that work in trying to, do something as crazy as, drag and drop. So basically all I do is, like, if I upload a certain game, it's going to take me a while. All I do is click, scroll down. There you go. Click, check, and scroll down. As simple as that. I mean, it's good to be efficient. And playing video games is no different. You want to be efficient with your videos. So therefore, just to save time and energy. I feel better after doing after knowing where I am, and I use my playlist as my backlog, because there are some games I will somehow lose track of, and I have to use my playlist as a reference guide as to where I am. So therefore, that's what I use my playlist for. I mean, and think about it. You have a playlist. You could basically consult that over, like, reading it. I said some things people can tell you that a game guide just can't. I mean, it's just that important. So, like I said, I have certain playlists that, people can look through if they feel they're led to know how to get through a certain area. It's why I tell, it's why I say this. I have a playlist of this game, so, you feel like you want to go through that game, go right ahead, be my guest. It might lead you to what you want to do and how to deal with it. So, just like I said. I mean, I like to help people as much as I can, As long as, there is this, there's a little tiny bit of gratitude following, I'm okay with it. But I think I have covered most of the guide to being a decent, if not a decent, being a decent LPer. And I certainly hope that those of you out there who feel you want to do LP, it should be like this. If you feel led, you should become an LPer. Then wean yourself into talking. Try uploading some things that will have your voice on it. Don't be afraid. It's just you. It's just you playing a video game. Just don't think about the people who comment. Just think about how to beat the game. Well, first off, play the game and beat the game. Just don't think about the people. It's just like being on stage at a national competition. All you're doing is you're thinking of this. Don't think about anything else but what you worked so hard for. It's just that important. But in any case, like I said before, you can be a decent LPer as long as you know what to do and how you should deal with the situation. So therefore, I feel I have said my piece, and I hope you have enjoyed this guide to being a decent LPer. Yes, it is the first episode of the Tenkaichi's Guide 2. And I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming, Ichigo Musco, aka Pookie Izzy 7. And I have been waving the banner for good and shitty games since 1985. And with that I say, Tenkai Muso! And with that, I have spoken, and I am indeed out. Have a great weekend, everybody.